just kind of reintroduce him, I guess, but everyone knows Drew. He'll be speaking for us today in the Bible class, auditorium, and also in the AM hour, he'll be speaking the sermon. So glad to have him with us. He's in his first year of school over at Memphis School of Preaching. We partner with Ben here at Cedar Grove to support him on a monthly basis. So proud of him. Also, I know Brother Pat is also. I won't take any more of his time.
Well, good morning. It is great to be here again. I'm happy to have this opportunity to come back today. I know when Brother Paul reached out to me a month ago, he was suggesting that during the class I kind of update on my time while I've been over at the Memphis School preaching, and so that's what I'm going to do this morning. And so this past Friday, we've actually just finished our first quarter over there. So to begin, just kind of my background, I don't know, I'm not sure how many of you know my background, but before I came to Memphis School of Preaching, I was a social worker. I received my social work degree from Freed Hardeman, and didn't really fit the religious side of of things, and so I had been searching for churches or trying to get into ministry, and so that's what brought me to the Memphis School of Preaching to further my education in the Bible and to eventually become a minister. And so my first overall impression of the school has been wonderful. I love it. It's much better than what I was experiencing in social work. Social work is very secular. It's very, there are many things that are sinful that are condoned in many aspects of social work. And so to be in a place where Scripture is read, Scripture is taught, everybody is like-minded, and we're all pursuing the goal of heaven, it's a nice change and a nice place to be. So coursework, this quarter, I had several classes. Genesis was one of them. It was taught by Brother Billy Bland. I love this class. I loved it. Brother Bland is very knowledgeable in the Scriptures. He actually told us last week that he had been teaching this class for, I believe, 34 years. So the knowledge, the wisdom that has come from him in this class has just been excellent. And I know my classmates and I have really enjoyed getting to sit in at his feet and learning from him in this class. One of the things that we love so much about this class is that it wasn't just going through the Scriptures and reading the stories. He would make practical applications for many of the stories that we would read, the narratives that we would read. And so a lot of that played into, we would talk about things like drinking, when Lot and his daughter, the story of Lot and his daughters. We talked about marriage at various times, the different wives that Abraham took. And so we talked about marriage and the creation account. When Adam and Eve were first created, the marital bond, what that's supposed to look like. One of the things that stuck out to me, one of the things I remember is that he mentioned Eve was taken from Adam's side. Eve was not taken from Adam's head so that she could trample over him. She was not taken from his foot so he could trample over her. She was taken from his side so they could walk hand in hand as a partnership. And he also said that this means that the husband is the king of the house and the wife is the queen of the house. And I thought that was a great way to describe the marital relationship, that partnership. I really appreciated the way that he explained that. We talked about oaths and honesty, how we should be careful when we take the oaths, that pushing forward toward the New Testament, we should be so honest that we shouldn't even have to take an oath. We should just be known that, or it should just be automatically known that we are going to complete what we've said we're going to complete when we say it. We talked about various moral dilemmas. So overall, it was a great class. We also talked about the day age theory. This is a theory that states that in the creation account, instead of the creation being 6 literal 24-hour days, that they were spread into ages. And so day 1 would be thousands to millions of years. Day 2 would be thousands to millions of years. And so one of his quick responses to that was, well, if that's the case, did Adam live to see day 7? Because day 6 would be over the course of thousands to millions of years, and by day 7, he would be thousands or millions of years old. So, did he live to see day 7? Just a great class overall. I really appreciate Brother Bland. We have been taking our first course in homiletics. Brother Bobby Liddell, great instructor. He has a care and concern for the students that is shown in the way that he talks to us, in the way that he reflects on our sermon outlines, on the way we are speaking in class. He's a great man, and we really enjoyed his class as well, with his instruction on various things. Brother B.J. Clark, we took a class, Bible geography, with Brother Clark. I personally really enjoyed this class because we were looking at stories from the Bible, and in class he would have on the screen a map, and he would be showing us all these different points from Scripture on this map, just making the stories come to life and make it be more familiar to us. And I really appreciated being able to see those places on these maps so that we can get a better view in our minds of where these things took place, what the areas looked like, just to add some context to these narratives. Brother Clark also taught us in Exodus and Leviticus. Like those in Genesis, he likes to make practical application in his classes, much like he does in his sermons. And so, like those in Genesis, we had a lot of practical application to go along with the stories in Genesis, or the stories in Exodus. One of those being the baptism of Moses, which is mentioned, I believe, in 1 Corinthians. And so he used the story of the crossing of the Red Sea to explain how baptism is from this place of death, this place of separation. And then whenever we go through the water, just as the Israelites did, when we come back up, we're saved. And so we must pass through the water to obtain salvation. One of the things that he said about that was there may be somebody, or there may have been somebody who said, well, I don't want to pass through the Red Sea. I don't want to pass through the water. I'm sure God will take care of me if I just stay right here. I have faith that God will take care of me. But that is not what God told them to do. He told them to go through the Red Sea. And so by going through the Red Sea, that is when they were saved from the Egyptian army. Life of Christ with Brother Alan Webster. I love Brother Webster. He is very knowledgeable. He makes it easy to understand his courses. The way he teaches is somebody showed him this Bible app called Good Notes. And so what you can do with Good Notes, it imports a digital Bible onto an iPad or some kind of tablet. And so he can write directly on Scripture and show us on the screen what he's doing. And so that was a really cool way to learn, a really interesting way to learn. And I felt like it was helpful to me because now I have this Bible and all of my class notes are within the various scriptures, the various verses. He used a lot of practical application as well. That's one of the things that I love about this school is that it is not just simply teaching us the scriptures. It's teaching us how to apply the scriptures, how we can use it in our daily lives, how we can teach others. And he is certainly a master at doing that. His care and concern for each individual student is shown in the way that he presents, in the way that he talks to us, that he interacts with us. He's a very good instructor, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity to learn from him. All of the instructors there are incredible teachers. I know I don't have to. I do not have to say that. I don't have to tell you that, but they are. They are great. They are great instructors, and I know that we all know that. Great men, great contenders of the faith. And so I don't have enough words to truly express my gratitude and my appreciation to the instructors because they're great men. The student body, we're like a big family. Just in this quarter, I feel like I have grown with these brothers. We just had graduation for some of our or some of the second years and the third years, and we all took an emotional hit from that because we're losing these brothers who we've grown close to just in that amount of time. We occasionally have different events that we put together. On Labor Day, we had a Labor Day cookout. We talked with each other, had great fellowship. So we're really getting to know each other, and we're developing bonds that I believe are going to last a lifetime. I've heard from many people before attending this school that this is where I'm going to meet some of my best friends, and I already have. That is a true statement. The common goal of us teaching the Bible, us studying the Bible together, us one day becoming preachers of the gospel, it ties us together. That bond is one that is going to strengthen and hopefully never break. Now, the second years, even though they're a year ahead, we still have that bond with them as well. They look down on us and give us advice and show concern and wish to help us out. But as brothers do, they have been preparing, attempting to scare us for the coming quarters. That one of the main topics of attempting to scare us is memorizing the book of James, which will be coming in 2 quarters. And so there have been several times where one will mention it, and all of them in unison will begin to quote the book of James. They have a great way of showing their love to us. I'll say that. No, but they are concerned for us, and they do wish the best for us. And they have been very helpful in preparing for the coming quarters. They've been helpful in getting through this past quarter because this was the initial quarter that, or our introduction to how the Memphis School of Preaching will go. They've been great encouragements. Yeah, so we have great fellowship with each other. So looking forward, the upcoming courses that we will have, Numbers, Hebrew history, homiletics, hermeneutics, life of Christ, and English. I know we are all looking forward to some of these. The difficulty is going to increase, but we are all welcoming that. I know that we have talked among ourselves, and we are ready for this next quarter. We're ready for what lies ahead. As I said, the instructors are great. Great instructors, great people. And I know we're really looking forward to learning more about the scriptures, or more scriptures. Something else that we do every day, I forgot to mention this, but something else we do every day is we have memory verses at the beginning of class. And so that looks different for each instructor. For Brother Bland, he likes us to quote these verses verbally. And so at roll call, he'll go through the roll, we'll stand up, and we will quote scripture, the assigned scripture for the day, and then sit back down. Others, Brother Clark, he likes us to write down the scriptures, but our heads are getting filled with scriptures right now. Every day, it's several verses a day to have prepared, and so that's one of the things that I love about this school is from the beginning, they are training us to have these scriptures in our head, constantly flowing, constantly engaging in the Word, and not just later on, but immediately starting to get us involved heavily in the scriptures. I believe it was last Monday, maybe. I gave my first chapel speech. That was interesting. I was expecting that to be maybe at a later time, but they have thrown us into the fire. They have Um, at first, they introduced chapel with many of the instructors speaking. They then had the second year students present lessons from restoration. So we have been learning in chapel about all the various figures who have helped restore the church back to the New Testament over the years. One of the things that they say that I really appreciate before we go through those readings is that these men are not inspired. We do not look to them as though they are divine. We look at them as men who did have failures. And so by the readings in chapel, we are not elevating them to an extent above these were men who were beneficial to restoring the church from the false doctrines that were going on in their day. And so after the restoration readings, they have begun to give us days to begin speaking in chapel. I was number 2 in the first year class. My roommate was number 1. So we had some fun with that in our apartment. Great guys that I room with, and we were talking this morning just before class started about my roommates, and it has become known that my roommate is somewhat of a chef. He cooks all the time, and recently he cooked before inviting everybody over, and so he was expecting 8 or 9 people to come to our apartment, and there were only 3 of us, and so we gave him a hard time about that. We gave him a hard time about that, but love my roommates. We get along well, but we did think that was funny that my roommate had the first chapel speech, and then I had the second one, and now we're waiting for our other roommate to have his, so we can give him a hard time and give him encouragement during his time preparing. One of the upcoming events that is actually starting today. We have 2 groups in the middle of campaigns right now. This morning, I'm very appreciative for the opportunity to be here. One of the instructors gave me permission to come over here and be with you today. But we have 2 door knocking campaigns going on right now. One is in Shreveport, Louisiana, and so those brothers are down in Louisiana, and many of them will be speaking in this gospel meeting. They will be the ones actually holding the gospel meeting and presenting lessons. I believe that is all second years, but just some great guys, and they have great topics. I believe their topics were religious. It was over religious confusion or something along those lines, but they're talking about drinking. They're talking about marriage. They're talking about the one true church. Just a great set of lessons that these men are doing. And then the second group, of which I'm a part, is over in Tupelo with Brother Paul, and they are door knocking as well for that meeting. That is over at the East Main Church of Christ there in Tupelo, and so this afternoon I will be leaving to go meet up with my team over there, and I'm so appreciative for that opportunity. I did not realize initially that we would be working with Brother Paul in this campaign, but I knew he mentioned that he was going to Tupelo, but I did not know that he would be actually at that congregation. So I am excited to be able to work with him over there as well. I know for many of us, this is our first time door knocking. So this will be, I believe it'll be a great experience for us. Something that many of us are looking forward to. We're getting to spread the word. We're getting to interact and engage with the various communities around the area. And so I know we're appreciative of that opportunity. And I'm glad to be working with Brother Paul on this or in this effort. Forest Hill, the congregation that oversees the Memphis School of Preaching, they have been nothing but an encouragement to all of us. We're getting involved with them. We've actually been put into care groups within the past, I believe, 3 weeks. And so we're beginning to engage with the members there. We're getting to know everybody that attends there, but they've been a great encouragement for us all. And Brother Kane, I love Brother Kane. He is a great preacher. He's a great speaker, and he always has a great lesson. And so I appreciate being able to attend where he preaches. There's always something to get out of it. I know on Wednesday nights, the students deliver the invitations. I'm also appreciative of that opportunity, knowing that in the future, my class will be able to do the same, that we will be getting that practical experience whenever we reach that point. We'll be able to deliver those to the congregation. Many events going on with them. Several of us are involved with the young adults classes there. We have not had much time on our hands to actually attend some of these events, but we are hoping that when we get more used to the course load, that maybe we'll be able to balance it to where we can attend some of these events with the young adults, because that is also just beneficial. It's a great opportunity for us to get to know many of the other people there. And actually, I believe it was my first Sunday there. I saw my roommate from Freed Hardeman in the congregation, and I had to do a double take. I did not realize that it was actually him. I thought it may have been somebody that looked like him, but I looked and I said, "Well, that's Caleb." And so I went up and I spoke to him, and he's a member there. So that's a great connection to have there, and we talk pretty frequently. But great to see old friends again, and just make so many great connections in that congregation. I really love the people there in Forest Hill. In the coming weeks, I think after our campaign, we have we have our campaign, and then the week after we will begin classes again. We'll have a 2-day break on Thursday and Friday. Thursday for traveling, and then Friday is a rest day and the weekend. But then Monday we'll get right back to it with our new quarter, where we'll take on 6 new classes, 6 new courses. And as I said earlier, we're really looking forward to that. I know my roommates and I have been discussing that pretty regularly. We have been for about half of this quarter, because these quarters go by so quickly. We were all shocked actually at how quickly this one flew by, how these classes have ended so quickly, because there's so much information that we're taking in and we're learning, and that we are attempting to digest, but also talk about in papers and in sermons. The quarter it flew by. I mean, it feels like I blinked and here we are at the end of the quarter. But I know we're really looking forward to the new courses that we will be getting. Brother Keith Mosier will be thrown into the mix, and he's a great man. We've had a few interactions with him, but he's a really funny guy, and from what I understand, he does care for the students, and he drives them to do their best. He expects a lot, as do the other instructors, but he does want people to succeed, and he does want great preachers to be formed from the instruction. He will be teaching Numbers. So I know we are all looking forward to that. I know that we are also glad to have Brother Clark. Brother Clark will be teaching us homiletics, so he'll be teaching us how to speak and how to preach, and we're all excited about that. We know that Brother Clark is a great preacher, a great communicator, a great student of the Word, and so just learning under him from Exodus was a really good experience. It was a really great time, and I feel like I've learned a lot from him. But now we are able to learn how to speak from him, how to deliver sermons, and so that will be a great opportunity, and one that we are excited for. We've talked about that as well, for those various reasons. Brother Webster will be teaching us Hebrew history, so that will be Joshua through 1 Samuel. That's the first course. I believe next quarter we will have Hebrew history too. So there's a lot of information packed into that course as well, but I know that it's going to be beneficial with Brother Webster teaching us. I'm excited to learn about that as well, with the notes in the margins. One thing that Brother Webster does, and I was showing my roommates, I had a 3-inch binder, and he sends out handouts every day that we were in class. And so we have handouts from the introduction to Matthew to chapter 28 of Matthew. And so in total, I'm really not sure how much we actually have, how many handouts we actually have, but it filled up a 3-inch binder, and it broke that binder with how much was filled or packed in there. And I was laughing, and I showed my roommates. I said, guys, he just gave us so many papers that it broke my 3-inch binder. And so we've been having a good time compiling that information, but we're already looking forward. He's already sending out these handouts for the next quarter. Every time we look at our email every day, it's a new set chapter 4 of Joshua, chapter 6, chapter 8. He's sending out handouts for Mark, and that's another class that he will teach. He will be teaching Hebrew history and Life of Christ too. So he's continuing on from Matthew, and we will be covering Mark and Luke, as well as those other classes that he'll be, or those other books that he'll be teaching us in history. So he's been sending out those handouts to us already. He was sending those out, I think, 2 weeks before the quarter ended, and so we've already got some information. We have information to go through before the quarter starts to get us introduced to that book. I have not talked about Brother Dan Cates. He's a great man. Right now, we only have him for English, but I know that he teaches Job, and I believe Proverbs as well. But right now we only have him for English. But that has been so beneficial for us. I know just in the time that we've had him this quarter, we've seen how much he loves the students. We've seen his personality, and we all love Brother Cates. He's a great influence in our schooling. He's a great encouragement to us. He interacts with us. He interacts with us like he's known us for 10 years. We are, I know we're all appreciative of him. And one of the things that he does, rather than have us take formal notes, we have these textbooks, and we'll fill our notes out in the textbooks. And a lot of what we have been doing this first quarter is diagramming verses, which is another thing I really enjoy about his class. It's not just English. What he teaches is Scripture. And so even though we are learning how to diagram sentences, and it brings us back to elementary school, we're learning how to diagram scriptures. And so while we're learning grammar, while we're learning diagramming, we're also diving into the scriptures, learning how to break apart each verse. We're learning how to understand each verse. And so it's really, on top of English, it's really really a class on understanding Scripture. I know that we all enjoy that, because we will every Wednesday we would get up and we would be expected. So we would have homework assignments, and that's how we were counted present for the day. And so then we would each get up to the different boards in the classroom and diagram these verses to show that we can properly pick them apart. And he would help us out with that and understanding how to do it. But it's even in the first quarter, I believe it has helped us to be able to look at verses and mentally pick them apart by looking at the subject and the verbs and the pronouns, and how we can properly connect those with one another. So that's been very helpful. But we all love Brother Cates. He's a great instructor. Again, just like the other instructors, he shows the care and concern, the love for each student. And he's a great man, very knowledgeable. And even sometimes on Fridays in his classes, it would be a question day. And so Mondays, we're going over grammar, nouns, verbs, pronouns. Wednesdays, we go over diagramming sentences. And then Fridays, we were, it was a free day. And so a lot of times what he would do on Fridays is if there was something said in chapel, we would pick that apart and talk about it, how it could be said better, or what it means, verses that may not be difficult passages in Scripture. He would pick apart and help us to understand them. Questions that we had over songs, he would write down notes on his phone or take notes in his phone to present to us on Fridays. And so we would break apart songs as well to help us understand what we're actually singing. There are some songs that are less scriptural than other songs, and so for those songs, if somebody had a question over them, he would explain why. And so he would have up on the screen, he would have scripture, and then on his phone he would have the lyrics, and he would be going through the lyrics, and he would stop and he would begin talking about the scripture up behind him and explain why that certain song may not be the best one to sing. And so they really do their due diligence in showing to us the importance of being mindful in the songs that we sing. I know that's one of the things that has helped me greatly while I've been here. It's making me more mindful in the words that I'm singing whenever song leading begins. That actually brings up another point. We each have had the opportunity to lead singing. We've had the opportunity to read scriptures, to pray, and then, of course, we're starting our chapel speeches now. But that is one thing that I really appreciate about the school as well, is that from the second week on, the first years have had opportunities to participate in chapel. It is not just second years. The student body as a whole participates. And so we each get to lead 2 songs at the beginning of chapel. And that has really, I believe that's really helped each of us to become better song leaders, better leaders in prayer, because some of those things get critiqued as well. If we need to improve on something like our posture or the way that words we use, things we say, those are critiqued as well. So it's been really beneficial in that sense. Again, overall, I've really enjoyed my time so far at the school. It's been so spiritually uplifting, again, to be around like-minded people. It's been helpful to have 2 roommates that are first years. Everybody has talked to me about that, because both of my roommates are first years and not everybody has that. But that's one of the things that I'm enjoying is now we have the opportunity to talk about assignments with each other and help each other through those things. And we have study groups every week. The class does. And so we're really there to help each other understand. If one person doesn't understand something, then we try to help them understand, and we try to explain topics to them and talk them through it. And so it's a really great environment to be in. The instructors, again, just great men, and I know we're all appreciative of that opportunity. to sit at their feet. The opportunities that they give us to serve are great as well. The campaign this week, we also will have one in the spring. I believe it's at the end of March or early April. There will be 4 campaigns then, and so we'll be split into 4 groups. And that is one of the things that I'm really grateful for is we are going. I mean, it's possible that we'll be going to different countries to serve. We'll go all over the United States if we have the opportunity, and so we are really able to engage with various cultures, ways of life, and spread the gospel to many people. It's a very encouraging thing that they're doing there. So overall, I'm really enjoying my time at Memphis. Great men, great students, great information, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of my 2 years and how much I grow. And I'm excited to see how much my classmates grow as well. From the time we get here in August of this year to when we graduate, I'm really excited to see where we go. I see that it is 9:46, 9:47. So I know that they said 15 till or so. So thank you. I appreciate it.